Hello and welcome back to the channel where we explore powerful life topics while improving your English. I'm really glad you're here today. Whether you're walking, driving, studying, or just relaxing with your headphones on, thank you for spending this time with me. Today's topic is something we all experience in our daily lives, but we don't always stop to think about it clearly. And that's exactly what we're going to do together. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those days where you were doing things all day? Maybe answering emails, checking your phone, running around. But at the end of the day, you felt like you didn't actually finish anything important? You were constantly busy, but strangely, nothing truly meaningful got done. It's like you were spinning in circles. If that sounds familiar, don't worry. You're not alone. Many of us live this way for weeks, months, even years. It can feel like we're always rushing, always tired, always overwhelmed. But deep down, we sometimes wonder, is all this activity really helping me move forward? That's what today's episode is all about. We're going to explore the difference between being busy and being productive. And the big question I want you to think about is this: are you really busy? Or are you productive? You see, busy people are always doing something, but productive people are doing the right things. Busy people fill their time. Productive people move forward. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. We'll look at why we sometimes prefer to stay busy instead of focusing on what's truly important. We'll also talk about the emotional side of it, like how fear of failure, perfectionism, or self-doubt can push us to fill our time with distractions instead of real progress. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a clearer picture of where your time is going and how you can start being more intentional with it. Now, as you listen, I encourage you to think about your own routines. What fills up your schedule? What tasks make you feel satisfied at the end of the day? And which ones leave you feeling empty or even frustrated? Sometimes, asking the right questions is the first step toward positive change. This episode isn't just about learning English. It's about understanding yourself better. And remember, every word you hear is helping you grow your vocabulary, your confidence, and your mindset. So before we dive into today's topic, I just want to let you know that this episode is created especially for B2 level English learners, also known as upper intermediate level. That means the vocabulary, grammar, and expressions you'll hear are a little more advanced than beginner or intermediate content. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Just try to follow the meaning and enjoy the rhythm and flow of natural English. This is a great way to improve your listening and speaking skills while exploring real, meaningful topics. So, let's get started. Being busy versus being productive. Are you really getting things done? So now that we've asked the big question, are you really busy or productive? Let's take a deeper look at what those two words actually mean in real life. On the surface, being busy and being productive can look very similar. In both cases, you're doing things, using your time, and maybe even feeling tired at the end of the day. But if we take a closer look, there's a big difference between the two. Being busy means your time is full. You're always doing something, replying to messages, going to meetings, running errands, crossing tasks off your to-do list. But here's the catch. Many of those tasks might not actually be important. They just keep you active. Being busy often gives us the feeling that we're working hard, but we might not be moving forward. Imagine you're running on a treadmill. You're sweating, your heart is beating fast, and you're using a lot of energy. But at the end of it, you're still in the same place. You didn't actually go anywhere. You just stayed busy. Now let's look at what it means to be productive. When you're productive, you're not just doing things, you're doing the right things. You have a clear goal, and your actions are helping you get closer to it. Being productive is like walking a real path. Even if you're moving slowly, every step takes you further. It's not about how many hours you work. It's about what results you create. A productive person might do fewer tasks, but those tasks matter more. They focus on what really moves their life, work, or goals forward. Let's say you want to learn English. That's your goal. A busy person might watch random videos, scroll through Instagram for English quotes, or spend hours highlighting vocabulary in a textbook. But a productive person would choose one lesson, focus on listening, practice speaking, and maybe record themselves to check their pronunciation. They would do less, but with purpose. That's the key: purpose. One thing that often stops us from being productive is that we don't always know our priorities. A priority is something that's more important than other things. If everything feels important, we can't choose what to focus on. So we end up doing a little bit of everything, and we don't finish anything. That's how we become busy, not productive. To be productive, we have to ask ourselves, what really matters right now? What will make the biggest difference? When we can answer that, we're on the right path. Another thing that gets in the way is perfectionism. Maybe you've felt this before, the feeling that everything has to be perfect before you start. So you keep preparing, planning, organizing, but never really doing the thing that matters. Or maybe you keep changing your mind because nothing feels good enough. Perfectionism can make us feel like we're working hard, but it's actually a form of fear. It keeps us busy so we don't have to face the possibility of making mistakes. But remember, progress is always better than perfection. You can fix things, improve them, and learn, but only if you start. Of course, life brings setbacks too. A setback is when something unexpected happens and pushes you off track. You get sick, you lose motivation, your schedule changes, or something doesn't go the way you planned. When that happens, it's easy to fall into busy habits. Because busy work feels easier than doing the hard, focused things that actually move us forward. But being productive doesn't mean being perfect all the time. It means coming back, again and again, to what really matters, even after a setback. It means choosing focus over activity. So let's take a moment to think. In your daily life, how often do you stop and ask yourself, is this really necessary? Is this helping me grow? Most of us don't ask those questions often enough. We just keep going. But if we want to be productive, not just busy, we have to get comfortable with reflection. We have to become more honest about how we use our time and why we do the things we do. And here's something important to remember. Being productive doesn't always mean working more. Sometimes it means working less, but with more intention. It means creating space to breathe, to think, to focus. That's why productive people often seem calm, not rushed, because they know where they're going, and they're not afraid to say no to the things that don't take them there. To sum it up, being busy is about doing a lot. Being productive is about doing what matters. One fills your calendar, the other fills your life with meaning. And when you learn to make that difference in your mind, your habits begin to change. You stop wasting energy on the wrong things and start building a life that's more focused, more peaceful, and more successful in your own way. So, as we move into the next part of the episode, ask yourself honestly, am I just moving, or am I actually going somewhere? That question can open the door to a whole new way of living. Why we love being busy. Let's be honest. Even though being busy can feel stressful, we often choose to stay that way. Sometimes, we even feel proud of being busy. But why? Why do so many of us stay so busy, day after day, when we know it doesn't always help us grow or move forward? One reason is cultural. In many modern societies, and especially in big cities, being busy is seen as a sign of success. It's like we wear our busy schedules like a medal or a trophy. This is often called the busy badge of honor. Imagine someone asks you how you've been, and you say, "Oh, I've been so busy." You might not realize it, but deep down you're telling them, "I'm important. I'm needed. My time is full because my life is meaningful." This idea is everywhere, in movies, social media, workplaces, and even in school. People often respect those who are always doing something. It becomes part of our identity. We believe that if we're not busy, we're lazy, or even worse, unimportant. But that's not true. Being constantly busy doesn't always mean you're doing well. It just means your time is full. In fact, it's possible to be extremely busy and still feel empty inside. I know, because I've felt that way myself. Let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I was working on several projects at once. I had a full-time job, I was trying to build a side business, I was taking evening classes, and I was even helping organize a community event on weekends. My calendar was packed. Every hour had something written in it. I didn't have time for long lunches, for breaks, or even for real conversations with my family. I told myself, I'm doing so much. I must be making progress. But the truth was, I wasn't. I was busy, yes, always moving, always checking tasks off a list, but I wasn't growing. I was just surviving. One evening, I sat down after a long day and realized something strange. I couldn't even remember what I had done that day. I had spent the entire day in motion, but nothing important had actually moved forward. No big goals had gotten closer. I had just been reacting to the things around me. Emails, calls, requests, tasks, instead of choosing what mattered most. That moment changed me. It made me ask the question we talked about earlier. Am I just moving? Or am I actually going somewhere? That's when I started learning the difference between being busy and being productive. So why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep filling our time, even when it drains our energy and steals our focus? Part of it is emotional. Staying busy helps us avoid things we don't want to face. If you're always running around, you don't have time to stop and ask hard questions like, am I happy? Am I doing what I really want? What am I afraid of? These are not easy questions. So instead, we stay busy. It's a kind of protection. We stay active, so we don't have to feel uncomfortable emotions like doubt, fear, or sadness. But real growth only happens when we're honest with ourselves. There's also the fear of missing out, sometimes called FOMO. In today's world, we see everyone online doing so many things. Traveling, starting new businesses, learning new skills, posting success stories. This creates pressure. We feel like we need to do more, try more, be more. So we say yes to everything. We take on more than we can handle. We stay busy because we're afraid to fall behind. But the truth is, nobody can do everything. And real success doesn't come from saying yes to everything. It comes from saying yes to the right things. Another reason we love being busy is that it gives us a clear structure. When we don't know what to do, or when we're unsure about a big decision, we often choose to do smaller, easier tasks, just to feel like we're doing something. That way, we can feel useful, even if the task isn't important. But this is often just an illusion. It's motion, not progress. And if we're not careful, days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, and we're still stuck in the same place. Let me ask you this. Have you ever avoided a big, scary goal by focusing on little things that didn't really matter? Maybe you cleaned your room instead of studying, or checked your email instead of practicing English. We all do this sometimes. It's human. But once we become aware of this pattern, we can begin to change it. In the end, we stay busy because it feels safe, familiar, and socially accepted. But if we're not careful, busyness can become a habit that hides our fear, our confusion, or our lack of clarity. The good news is that habits can be changed, and it all starts with awareness. So today, I invite you to think about your own life. Do you wear the busy badge with pride? Do you sometimes stay busy to avoid fear or discomfort? Do you fill your days with tasks that keep you active but not aligned with your real goals? These are deep questions, but asking them can change your life. And as you reflect on your answers, you're not just improving your English, you're improving your mindset. Let's keep going and see how we can start moving from busy to truly productive. The hidden costs of being busy. Being busy all the time might sound like a good thing. It can even feel exciting. You always have something to do, people to talk to, and tasks to complete. But over time, staying busy without direction or purpose can lead to something deeper, something more dangerous. And that's what we're talking about now. The hidden costs of being busy. Let's start with one of the biggest ones, burnout. Maybe you've heard this word before. Burnout happens when your body and mind feel completely tired, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It's not the kind of tiredness that goes away after one good night's sleep. It's the kind of exhaustion that builds up slowly, over weeks or even months. You start to feel like you have no energy left. You might lose interest in things you used to enjoy. Even small tasks feel heavy and difficult. Many people who experience burnout say things like, "I just don't feel like myself anymore." And what causes burnout? Often, it's not because you're doing something meaningful and challenging. It's because you're doing too much of the wrong things. Without rest, without clarity, and without balance. You spend your days rushing, reacting, and completing task after task. But none of them bring you real satisfaction or progress. You're always on, but never really present. You're busy, but not fulfilled. Now let me ask you a question. Are you tired because you worked hard on something important? Or because you spent the whole day wasting your energy on distractions? That's a powerful question. And sometimes, the truth is difficult to face. But facing it is the first step to change.